Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Life loves you, and so do I. This is a message from Spirit. So we are going to do an energy reading, and we're going to first pick an archetype card from the Carolyn Myss deck to see what is the shadow that we're working with right now. And I'm feeling like a little dizziness and lightheadedness right now. Just tuning into the energy. Feels like a new energy, a shift, like we've entered a new world. I feel that. Where anything is possible. So what is the archetype that we're working with? What is the shadow that we need to be able to see? In order to create what we want to create in this new world. And as I always say, my videos have a lot of silence because the silence is where God talks to you. God talks to you through music, through nature, through other people, and also through an inner knowing. When you ask a question, you will receive an answer if you're open to that. Okay, three of them came out. So we have Angel. Ooh. The shadow and the light of Angel. So the light attribute of the angel is helping those in need with no expectation of return. And the shadow is acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Okay, then we have Guide. And the light attribute represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. And the shadow attribute places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. Wow. And then we have Detective. Great powers of observation and intuition desire to seek out the truth. And the shadow attributes are voyeurism, falsifying information. Okay, so when we don't know the answer, what do we do? Do we pretend that we know? Do we say that we know? So I talked about in another video how originally I intended to become a coach because I wanted to make more money. Because I'm a therapist, but I wasn't really making enough money as a therapist because being a therapist is really hard. I have to sit with, the way that I do it, I have to sit with other people's emotions, very difficult emotions. So I wanted to become a coach so that I could make more money and support myself, because it turned out that I was going to need to go off on my own. I didn't know that at the time, but that's what ended up happening. So I've always had this desire to help others. And I think sometimes when we do that, we believe we have to know more than we actually know. So maybe there's a part of you that thinks that you have to know more, or claim that you know more than you actually know, or say that you know where this information is coming from. So are you doing that? Maybe you don't have to do that. Maybe you can just talk about what you do know. And then the guide represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. So you are being guided by spirit, by the divine. Some people maybe get who's giving them messages or who's talking to them. I don't get that. I just know what feels right and true to me. And when I know what's real and right for me, it resonates in me. And if it doesn't feel right, there's like a disconnect or a twist, or it just doesn't feel right. So sometimes I might say something and then later I might be like, oh, that didn't feel right to me. I don't really know. Sometimes I'll experiment with that. Like, this is coming from God or spirit. I don't really know. I think that God and spirit are, well, God is really everything. And spirit is the energy of everything. And so that's what I think. So when I get insight or intuition or spirit messages, it's just opening myself and trying to clear as much of myself to be like a clear channel of spirit or God. But I'm also human, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. So the shadow attribute of the guide is placing financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. This is when I think of like the cart getting ahead of the horse. A lot of us are light workers, and we need to make money. So we just need to be pure about our intentions and honest with ourselves. And then we don't let that cart get ahead of the horse. Right now, I'm not doing this for money, and I don't need to get money from it, and I don't really want to right now. Well, I mean, of course, I would always want to, but I'm not looking for that right now. I really am excited about being one with God and spirit and where that leads me and takes me. That's what I'm really excited about. And so it's just trusting that it will take me wherever I need to go. And I think that's what we want to be able to sit in, is that energy of, we can trust that we will be provided for, and we don't have to worry or fear. Like, because if we're honest with ourselves and we really have faith, then we do trust and know that we are cared for, that because we're all one. We're connected to everything. Okay, so the detective light attributes. Great powers of observation and intuition, a desire to seek out the truth. I know that that is what drives me. What is true, what is real? What is God? What is life? What is love? And the shadow attributes are voyeurism and falsifying information. So voyeurism is kind of like, you're not connected to yourself. You're looking at, but you're not connected to yourself. You can observe, like in mindfulness, you can observe yourself, but you're still connected to yourself. I think voyeurism is you disconnect from yourself, and you disconnect from your feelings and your body. And then it's easy to falsify information because you're not connected. And I think you can tell, you can feel when somebody's not connected to themselves. I feel it, and for me, it feels like a twisting, like there's just like an unalignment and a twisting, and it doesn't feel right to me. So just noticing that, if what you're looking for is like guidance and to know what's real and true, you only know that by tuning into your body. So tune into your body. Does your body feel safe? Does your body feel connected? Does your body feel good? Or is there some kind of twisting? Is there some kind of feeling in your body that says this isn't right? And maybe it's just not right for you. You know, sometimes we're ready for certain messages and we're not ready for other messages. And there may be something that you don't want to hear because you're not ready to hear it. That's okay. These are really interesting cards today. Let's see what else we have. And there's an ant on the detective card. I don't know what that's about. I guess ants are hard workers. So you're working really hard to seek out the truth. What is true? What is real? It's what is true and what is real for you. It can be different for other people. And let that be okay. Everybody's on their own path of what is true and what is real for them. We are all connected in the end, but right now it's okay to take your own journey and find your own truth. That's what we need to do right now. Take your own journey and find your own truth. Okay, so the Light Seers Tarot is what we're going to do next. So let's get more information about the angel. Helping those in need with no expectation in return. I don't know if we can actually do that. I mean, I'm trying to do that. I feel like I am doing that, but I don't know that we all, if we're being honest with ourselves, if we all can do that, you know? I'm really lucky that I have, and it wasn't just luck, I worked really hard. I'm really lucky and also fortunate that I have a career of being a marriage and family therapist. And so I don't need to ask for money for this because I have a job. I have a way of getting paid other than this. So, ooh, look what came out. The Devil and the Page of Pentacles. All right, the Page of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, this is interesting. So that's under the angel. I got chills for some reason. Okay, the Devil. 15. In the darkness, I am free to heal everything. The Devil is the grip of addiction, a need for liberation, healthy versus unhealthy sexuality, materialism. I think we're all struggling with materialism. The healing found in darkness. Delving into your shadow self, being trapped in your own stories, manipulating, lying to yourself, temptation. Okay, so this is making sense now to me. Sometimes we do lie to ourselves. because we fear, because of fear, really. We lie to ourselves because we're afraid that our needs aren't going to be met. And that's the shadow. We're afraid that we don't deserve or our needs are not going to be met. That's a really deep wound, I think, that we all have. Just breathing into that, I feel that in my stomach. That feeling of not being loved just for who you are. So at some point in your life, you were not loved for who you were, or just by being who you were. That's very sad. Just stay with that and hold that for a minute. You thought that you were unworthy. That was never true. That was never true. You are worthy, and you are lovable. We're going to look at the Page of Pentacles now. Some heavy energy here. I think I'm talking to some light workers who are afraid of their shadow. You don't need to be afraid of your shadow. We all have shadow. This is human. It's just part of the human experience. There's nothing wrong with you. It's hard to be human. I do know, because I'm a therapist, I know that everyone feels these things. Everybody has these things. It's just human. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles, she holds her mandala with a curious heart and roots into the bedrock to begin understanding the manifesting essence that we all hold. Remember when you thought you could be an astronaut? Or maybe it wasn't an astronaut. What was it for you? Go ahead and ground that energy before it dissipates. The energy of who you wanted to be when you were very young. We activate practical magic with our hopes, and we pull energy up from the earth to bring it to form. Progress happens one life stage at a time, and you must anchor into the details while simultaneously keeping your head in the clouds to dream. There may be pieces that still need to fall into alignment. Yes, yes. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to arrive. You're in the perfect place to figure out how to make your prosperity a reality. Seek confidence and dependability, and remember that you hold this power no matter where you stand today. Now, new perspectives and upgrades of consciousness are on the way, so use your plans for the future and expedite its arrival. I can be practical and realistic and still run ahead to meet my dreams. Okay, so ground yourself. That's what I'm hearing. Like you're too up here in the clouds as an angel. You're trying to be too up here. And you have to recognize that we are also, this is connecting us, the devil energy. It's just a heavy energy, but it's heavy because you need to connect to the ground. And we can remove it. We can remove the devil energy once you ground. Once you ground your energy, and that you are a human. Yes, you are an angel, and also you are a human. And so you're having this human experience, and you need to really be okay with that. That's what's getting you in the shadow. You're trying too hard to be the light. You don't have to try to be the light. You are the light. Stop trying so hard. Just be. Okay. So we're going to do now the guide. We're going to get more information about the guide. And at the end, we're going to do a little bit of family constellation. So we're going to move some of the energy around. The guide represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. And then the shadow is placing financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. Okay, so you're getting lost a little bit. You're getting lost. But don't judge yourself for that. We all need to live and survive. And it's scary sometimes, especially right now. I think it's very scary. But you don't need to be afraid because you are God. You don't need to be afraid. And when I say you are God, that's your ego may get afraid because you think that, oh my God, if I'm God, but God is everything. So you're everything. If that makes you feel better, you're everything. It's only your ego that fears. Your God self knows that it is everything, and so it has no need to fear. So when that fear comes up in you, just place your hand over your heart and connect to your spirit. And feel that calm being in the present moment. You're safe. Okay, let's get some information about this guide and where we may be getting lost. What do we need to know about this? We're a guide for others. We can be a light for others. But we don't want to lead them into the darkness. Or maybe we do. Maybe we want to lead them into their own darkness so they can find their own light. A couple cards just fell out. Oh, the Magician. They're upside down though. The Magician and Justice fell out. We're going to look at them upside down because that's the shadow side. So I think that's what we need to see. So we have the guide. Again. And the information that we're getting about the guide is the Magician and Justice. Okay. Questionable, and so that this one is questionable intentions because it's upside down. Questionable intentions, manipulation, selfishness, unfocused or blocked creative energy. Okay, so I think this is about questionable intentions and manipulation. Oh, wow. Just moved. Questionable intentions and manipulation. I think we all have to question ourselves sometimes, you know? It's just the ego popping up, you know? We all want to feel important. But we don't need to do that. It's like robbing ourselves. Because you really do have a gift, so stop pretending that you have something that you don't. Because you actually do have something. You don't need to pretend or think that you didn't get a gift. You have a gift. Okay, and the justice one are karma, injustice, and inequity. Karma, injustice, and inequity, dishonesty, imbalance, a need to take responsibility for your past actions. Wow, I'm talking to somebody out there who's really not being honest about their intentions. I really am starting to see like some darkness that's trying to hide. I see you. You're afraid. You're afraid if people see you that you won't be loved. And you're trying to steal other people's light. Because you can't feel it in yourself. Wow. It's in you. It's in all of us. You have light. You have to go into the darkness first. You have to be willing to go into the darkness to find your light. You don't need to steal mine or anybody else's. Just find yours. It's there. It's just fear occluding it. A lot of fear. Wow. Okay, now we're on the detective. Great powers of observation and intuition, a desire to seek out the truth. So you probably can see this in other people. You can probably see other people's darkness really well. But you really don't want to see your own. You can't look at you're really having a hard time looking at yourself. If you're seeing darkness all around you, but you can't see, you really have the courage to look at yourself. You're not alone. We all have this. It's inside of all of us. You know? Not one of us that has come to this planet has been able to escape this. We have greed, we have fear that causes us to do things to survive. We had to do these things to survive. But you don't have to continue to do these things, whatever they are. You don't have to continue to do these things. And you can't get your light from anybody else. You got to find it in yourself. But you have to be willing to look at the darkness first. Go into the darkness. The only way out is through. And you may need help. You may need to get a therapist or somebody to help you through this. And I know that's hard. It's hard to find somebody that you're willing to trust with your darkness. So maybe you need to find somebody who's gone through your own dark, who's gone through that. You know, is your darkness in... What is your darkness in? Is it in your sexuality? Is it in your greed? Find somebody who's been through it and has come out the other side. Is it in your addiction? Somebody who's not going to judge you for that. Somebody who can understand what you've been through. You can't heal it if you don't feel it. And I'm just feeling like this, prickliness at the back of my neck, like this tension and prickliness in the back of my neck. You don't want to be seen. But you found me. You found me. You're attracted to my light. This is not going to resonate with everybody. This is a different energy that I'm seeing today, that I'm working with today than I normally work with. So this probably won't resonate with the people that, I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not. I know you're afraid of yourself. I'm not afraid of you. I thought I was bad once too. When I was little. When I was a little girl. No, that badness doesn't belong to you. A long, long time ago, it got projected onto you and you thought it was you. And it may have caused you to do some bad things. You need to look at those things and feel them. And you may need to make amends for those things to heal that darkness. And come out of the dark and into the light. Okay, we're getting more information about the detective. Voyeurism. The shadow attributes are voyeurism. So watching others without them noticing or seeing. And falsifying information. Pretending to be somebody that you're not. It takes a lot of courage to be able to see yourself as that. Do you have that courage? You could become a healer to somebody else who's also struggling with this. I think we need that. If you can come through your own darkness, you can lead others through theirs. And that will help you heal. You know what it's like to be in that darkness. Probably don't want anyone else to feel like that. If you really feel that, you wouldn't want anyone else to feel that way. If you really feel that. And you could help others through it. Okay, we got the Seven of Cups. You have choices. Feeling blocked by indecision, fear of making the wrong choice, and overwhelm. Overwhelm, maybe. My wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down-to-earth way. Okay. See if I can get one more. I'm feeling that this block, this darkness, like right here in my third chakra, my power center. I'm guessing that you felt blocked, you felt powerless. Some heavy energy. Also feeling it here in my throat. Like you want me to stop talking. Maybe, or somebody had stopped you from talking. Somebody took your voice away. Or you didn't have a voice. Are there any other cards from the Light Seers Tarot that we need to help us with this? So I think the message is to be, is that you have great powers of observation and intuition, and use them for goodness. Let that be your you can use them for goodness. Even if you have been using them for dark reasons, you can use them for goodness. And be willing to look at your own shadow. I'm not getting any more here, so I'm going to move over to the Wisdom of the Oracle. And wow, this is freaking long, so... And I really don't know who's listening today, because it seems... I don't know. It is what it is. It's not what I was expecting today. I was looking forward to a light reading. Oh, okay, but... Yeah, I saw somebody struggling on TikTok. Somebody who was, you know, in the light for a while. She was looking to be in the light. She wanted to be somebody who spread light and a light worker. But she's facing her own shadow and she doesn't see it as herself. She doesn't see it in herself. If this is you, this might be you. It's hard to forgive ourselves. It's really hard to forgive ourselves. It's hard to see the shadow and see it as us and forgive ourselves. You know, sometimes we do take on other people's shadow. I think maybe that helps when we recognize that it's bigger than us. And we may be taking on the shadow of the collective. And it's like channeled through us. Like maybe I'm thinking that for this person, that could be what it is. Like, this isn't just your shadow that you're dealing with. You're dealing with the shadow of the collective. Oh my God, that's what it is. The shadow of the collective is coming through you. And so you don't have to blame yourself for that. Recognize that it's bigger than you. And maybe you're the only one willing to look at it. Maybe you're the only one who has the courage to look at it, this shadow. And you need to feel it, to heal it, and move it into the light. That's deep work. I couldn't do that work myself, but I do want to help you get out of that darkness. So I guess what I want you to know is that it's not all yours. You're carrying it for the collective. There's some heavy darkness in the collective, and there are a lot of people out there that are not willing to face it, unable to face it. But there are some light workers out there who can, but they're getting really lost in their own shadow. They're really getting lost. I mean, it's about love and forgiveness. Is there anything here that can help us. This is the wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Okay. To be fair. We got to be fair. Number 38. Even if you think this is just your darkness, it's not just yours. I mean, it's probably generational. It's probably been passed down. It's not just yours. Let them hold it with you. If you're experiencing it now, it is so it can be healed, this intergenerational trauma and darkness and shadow. There are people here that can help you bring it out into the light and help you with forgiveness. Balance, justice, a need to consider options, mutual benefit, the law of cause and effect. Life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing, yet over time they strike a balance. You move from stasis to doing, from discovering to loving, to letting go to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging back and forth between all of these states. Doing and being. If you are not content with where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause there is an effect. Wondrous things will be revealed now. And the protection message is, injustice and inequity are part of life, but they do not have to define your experience. This is a time when you may observe an injustice righted and fairly redressed. Perhaps you come to the rescue of someone else or are called to answer for a personal slight. You will be amazed by the sense of power that surges through you when you stand up for yourself and others. This card also indicates a good time to advocate for others who are less fortunate. Choose your cause and commit to it because you can make a difference. One thing is for certain, if fairness is your intention, the situation will be resolved for the highest good of all concerned through acts of kindness, empathy, and courage. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a constellation where we remove some of these energies. So I just want to get that. My nose is running. I can see my darkness as pain. I bow to my inner teacher. And I transform my pain into light and love. I'm going to put the devil at the center of the reading. You need to look at your devil. You need to look at your devil energy. Don't be afraid of the devil. Oh, now I have something to read you. I have something to read you. Okay. Give me a second. We're going to release some fear with this. Okay, this is from Luke Meador, M-E-A-D-O-R. Satan, contrary to popular depictions as a red-horned demon, represents a fragmented aspect of the human psyche, specifically the egoic self, when it is disconnected from source consciousness. This archetype embodies the illusion of separation, the voice of fear, pride, and control that tempts one to identify with false, fallacious, forced powers, external validation, and survival-based thinking. Also refer to the Course in Miracles reading for today. It's related to this. Fear of God. Satan in this context is not an external being, but a projection of the inner shadow, the part of the ego that resists surrender, clings to identity, and seeks to dominate or avoid pain. It is the internal adversary that distorts truth and feeds illusions, offering shortcuts or self-centered paths that bypass the soul's deeper evolution. Recognizing Satan as this subconscious force allows for deeper accountability as it brings awareness to how we create our own hell through resistance to creating our own heaven, through love, truth, and unity. Lucifer, often confused with Satan to distract from the true essence of its energy, or emergy it says, but I don't know, originates from a different symbolic current, one associated with light, knowledge, and the fall from divine unity into individuation to experience life. The name Lucifer means light bringer, and in esoteric traditions, he symbolizes the being who brings the light of formless consciousness into forms of awareness. The myth of his fall represents the descent of the divine spark into matter, the journey of forgetting one's divine origin in order to fully experience separation and eventually return through awakening. But as it has been, certain forces do everything within their force to attempt to prevent this awakening. This path of descent and eventual remembrance is intrinsic to the soul's growth, for without the illusion of darkness, the light within cannot be fully realized. Lucifer in this light becomes a misunderstood archetype of the awakened ego that chooses to separate in order to learn, evolve, and ultimately reintegrate with the whole. By integrating both the energies of Satan, the resistant ego, and Lucifer, the fallen light, the soul can awaken to its multidimensional nature and activate latent inner power. This integration is not about worship or submission to these archetypes, but about reclaiming the disowned aspect of self, facing the ego's fear and pride without judgment, and allowing the light of Lucifer's wisdom to illuminate the path back to unity. When these forces are alchemized within, they no longer rule subconsciously from the shadows. Instead, they become allies in discernment, self-mastery, and spiritual sovereignty. This inner unification ignites the flames of remembrance of one's divine origin, not just as an idea, but as a living frequency, a superpower of ego's fear and pride without judgment, and allowing the light of Lucifer... Wait, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Scratch that. Okay. This inner unification ignites the flames of remembrance of one's divine origin, not just as an idea, but as a living frequency, a superpower of consciousness that transcends duality. It births the presence that walks in truth, sees through illusion, and radiates a light forged through the fire of inner transformation that can be felt by the energy of mere presence alone. Wow. Okay, that was definitely a message from Spirit, because it's not something that I actually would normally address. But maybe I'm wrong, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's in me too. It's in me too. It's in all of us. Okay, but that definitely is a message from Spirit. It wasn't something that I intended to address or have come through me, but I'm honored to be able to bring that to whoever's stuck in darkness and can't see their own light. I love you and God loves you. And you are forgiven. And you need to forgive yourself. You need to see it and feel it and forgive yourself. And that's the hardest work. That is the hardest work. But when you can do that, you can do that for others to help heal others. I think that might be the key. Joining with others to help you out of the darkness and to help others out of the darkness. You don't have to do it alone. There are others that are going to come help you and help you with forgiveness. Okay. I'm just placing my hands back here because that's where I feel it. Namaste.